Slavery started in Africa. If anyone should be more sensitive to racism, it should be us, the Africans. Okay? Come all the way from whichever country you came from and bring all your racism to Africa, to Kenya. It's very different. You cannot compare your tribal stereotypes to racial stereotypes. Or, you cannot, never, ever. It's different.
The last 15 years, I went from being amused by this white man in a black body, pretending to be a very serious corporate person, to really becoming a serious corporate leader, to the only man whom I loved. And desperately want to live forever. Excuse me.
So let's analyze what he says. He says he went from being amused, which is just from there. There's a lot at that point, because he was amused, meaning that whatever Bob Collymore was trying to do was just funny to him because he never saw the potential in him. Why? Because he was black. Okay, it's only white people apparently who can do great things, who can achieve great things. Do you see that? I mean, this Bob Collymore was more successful than Michael Joseph. Clearly, he was. Okay, so for that, he now calls him a white man in a black body. This man just doesn't deserve to be black like that. No, he can't be black because he has achieved a lot of things. He has brought a lot of profit in the organization, and then so he just can't be black. He has to be white. There has to be something white in him, so he's just a white man in a black man's body. Do you see that? I mean, that's the most racist thing. In a way, he's just saying that we black people do not have brains. We do not have the capacity to just steer anything to the top. No, we're just average or below average. That is what he's saying, because to say this in an African country, wow, lots of nerve. And then he goes on to say, pretending to be a very serious corporate person. Ha! Pretending to be a very corporate person, to be a very serious corporate person. So he's a black person. He cannot be a very serious corporate person. He has to be pretending. Why? Because he's black. Person who I don't know the history of this person. I don't even know whether he's Kenyan to begin with. I don't know whether he has Kenyan citizenship or whatever. I have no idea. In a period of 15 years, and it took 15 years for him to probably in between to stop finding him funny and irrelevant and whatever, to actually just to loving him. And I don't even know what kind of love that is. How do you love people that you don't appreciate? How do you love someone whose culture you don't appreciate? How do you love someone if you think that he's lower than you? How do you love someone if you feel like you're superior to them? How do you love someone? Okay, I don't know, superiority complex. Anyway, to being the only person whom I loved. Well, I believe he was the only black person whom Michael Joseph loved, right? The only person he loved. Why? Because despite being a black person, he was successful, he was smart, say clever, he was an overachiever, and he achieved more than he could achieve. So I don't understand this love thing going on. I really don't. I don't believe it's love. I believe there's some sort of jealousy, and this jealousy arises from the fact that I'm white, he's black, and he's being celebrated. He's the one who has achieved more than I could, and I'm the white person here. So, a black person cannot be better than me. A black person cannot do better than I can. So, for that reason, I'm just going to be racist, and they're going to do nothing about it. Anyway, and desperately want to love forever. Again, if I didn't hear it correctly, let me know. But according to my ears, he says, to the only person whom I loved and desperately want to love forever. Wow. Why? because he's a white man in a black man's body, right? Because he's an overachiever, because he's smart, he's really good, he's better than me, right? For you to love someone because he says to being the only person, and before then, before Bob Collymore was successful, before Bob Collymore was an achiever, before he achieved more than Michael Joseph did, he was just amused, like, oh, what is this nigga gonna do, right? You know, like, he's a black man. Okay, he probably didn't use the N-word, sorry about that, but you know, you get the point. So he was just amused in the beginning, and then he becomes successful and does all these things. He becomes famous, people love him, and suddenly he loves him. Only him. Only him. And then he goes ahead to desperately want to love him forever. Wow. Wow. To earn this white man's love, you have to be better than him. You have to achieve more than he has. You have to be, you know, like way better than him. Then he might love you. And then he might also want to desperately love you forever. But first you have to be better than him. But you know what else? I really don't think that he's happy with Bob Collymore achievements or success. Because why? If, you know what? As Africans, let me just speak for Africans, we treat everyone equally. We don't think that other people are better than others or whatever. We just think people are people and everyone deserves respect. But one thing that I don't understand is why white people think that they can just make some utterances, they can just make some speeches that are racist and get away with it. Well, they do get away with it. It should be taken, because I believe in some countries, in some countries like America, for instance, you make racist comments, you lose your job. You make racist comments, something has to come all the way from whichever country you came from and bring all your racism to Africa, to Kenya. Okay, in Kenya, racism is not even a thing. We don't like discriminate against white people or Indians or any other type of people. We love everyone. So for you to come all the way from your country, whichever country it is, and then just speak racism and just, you know, make racist speeches during a memorial service in the first place. I mean, how can you say that of your friend? How can you say that of someone who you worked together? How can you say that? Okay, the other side of the coin is this. As Africans, speaking for the whole of Africa, maybe except South Africa because I don't know what goes on there. There's plenty of races down there. So speaking for my country, Kenya, and most of the African countries, where black people are the majority of the population, you know, the white people are just like negligible, just very few, one or two, whatever. So in these countries, we have different ethnicities. In this case, okay, say tribes. In Kenya, we have about 43. Is it 43 tribes in Kenya? Yes, I think it's 43 or something. And of these 43, in these 43 tribes, it carries 43 different cultures, 43 different beliefs, okay? 43 different dialects. What's a dialect? Anyway, they speak different languages, these people. And I think we have our differences, and at the end of the day, we are the same color, we are all black. So we make, I think we use that. It's the main source of comedy. It's the main material for comedy, really, in Kenya, because and anyone from whichever tribe can make a joke concerning whichever tribe. You know, Luyas eat a lot, Kalenjins, well, first of all, they all run, they're all marathoners, and well, they can't close their mouth because apparently they have really big teeth and whatever. Namakalenjin. Costarians, you know, the Mijikenda, the Swahili people, they can cook really nice food. Well, I don't think there's anything bad about them. And then the Luos, apparently they are too, you know, too proud. There's the Kikuyus, they're thieves. The president is Kikuyu, oh my god. Anyway, you know, there's all those things. The Kamba people and the Kisi people are witches, you know, and we just make fun of that because at the end of the day, we are all Kenyans, we are all one color, we are one nation, and we love each other. You know, I think a Kenyan is just a Kenyan. You know, we don't care about the tribe and whatever until, you know, politics happens, and then you realize you actually know your tribe and that you hate your neighbor, which is wrong. It's really wrong. It's, you know, politicians to blame for that, and us also for giving in to their, you know, misleading actions. Anyway, sticking to the point, at the end of the day, we are all Kenyans. At the end of the day, we love each other, and at the end of the day, we care about each other. Okay, so and there's no history. There's no history where I don't know. The Kikuyu did this to the Luo. The Luo enslaved the Kalenjins, and the Kikuyu were feeling superior to the Turkana. You know, there's no such history. That's why we can just make all those jokes and laugh together, and it's like just nothing happened. You know, we're just happy. Actually, we're happy those jokes happened. We can say anything. We can mention all those stereotypes, you know, about, we can go to the depths and nobody gets offended because there's no history. But now when talking about race, and I think it's time for Africans to wake up and realize that when it comes to race, it's so different. It's very different. You cannot compare your tribal stereotypes to racial stereotypes, or, you know, you cannot, never ever. It's different. Slavery started in Africa. If anyone should be more sensitive to racism, it should be us, the Africans. Okay, we were colonized by the British as Kenyans. So sorry. Anyway, thing is, if anyone should be sensitive to this kind of thing, it's us, the Africans. You know, we just see the Americans, the African Americans, and all black people all over the world complaining about racism, and they think, oh, they are too sensitive, they're this, they're that. You know, we just want to blame them for being too sensitive, and for just fixing their minds on history. But history can never be changed. History remains history, and whatever happened in the past cannot be changed, it cannot be erased, it remains. Okay, so that's the difference. We cannot just be here saying, oh, Africans, we don't get offended because we are not that sensitive to things about, you know, we are not. That's rubbish. Really, it's rubbish. Trying to, you know, create a rift between white people and black people. I'm just stating facts. Okay, make racist comments and just, you know, be applauded. Actually, people were laughing while he made the speech. People were just cheering him on, and I'm like, no. We need to wake up. Okay, Africa, they enslaved us. They took our land. They made us do all those things. So it's time they respect us. I'm not blaming them for what happened in the past. I'm not, but I'm blaming them for what they are doing right now. I'm blaming them for making racism look like it's part of life. I'm blaming no, but I feel like it was a prepared speech. It was a speech that he had written before. Can bring racism all the way to Africa. How much more can they, you know, discriminate against black people in other parts of the world? You know, I'm not perfect either. So if there's anything that I said that you think wasn't right, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.